Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are coming for the first time, please do hit subscribe and bell icon for more technical tips and tutorials. In today's video, I will show you the solution for countdown timer front-end interview challenge in React.js. So the problem statement is a countdown timer has hours, minutes, seconds that count down to 0 when started. In this problem, you are required to create a countdown component that takes in an input of minutes that when started counts down to 0 and prints the countdown on the screen. Sorry, this is the problem statement. So in this problem statement, we have again 5 tasks. So the first one is create a countdown timer that takes in an input as the minutes that you want to count down to start from. The second task is when clicked on the play icon, the timer should start counting to 0. The third task is if the input is changed in the middle, the countdown should stop and reset. And the fourth task is once played, the countdown cannot be stopped. And the fifth task is fifth and sixth are bonus. So like creating a reset button and then creating a pause button to pause the timer and to reset the timer. So let's start designing the solution for this. This video I'm going to record in 2 parts. The first part covers the first, second and third tasks, and then part 2 covers from 4th to 6th. I have already created a countdown timer file, so where I'll be starting designing the React component. Here I used a shortcut command to get the default component code, React component code, functional component. Okay, let me save this and then see whether it's working or not. So I already started the dev server here, so which runs by default on 5173 port. Why? Because I'm using a Vite server. I used a Vite to create a React project. Okay, let's refresh. See, yeah, it's working fine now. So now our design should look like as below. So at the end of the day, our solution should look like this. So let's start designing the UI first, and then we'll go with the logic for each functionality. Okay. Div. Let me have a class. So for styling, I'm using a Tailwind CSS. Okay. Sorry, item center. I want to place center on y-axis, and then even center on x-axis. So yeah, with this, let me save and then add a background color to body element of the HTML document. For that, I have already created styling in this styles.css. So where I added background color as well as a font family. Okay, let me import it. And then save. Let me see now. Yes, the body background color has changed to the required one which we specified in the styles.css. Okay, now our second thing is we should get a container with the background color orange and then all our elements required for the countdown timer. Okay, let me start adding one more div container. Div, and then again class name for styling, for which I'm using again flex. Since my if you see here, all my elements inside that container are aligning vertically, so I'm using flex and then flex call. So in going forward, I won't be explaining much about this styling, so it's a completely different topic. So please, if you want to more on the styling related to Tailwind CSS, please drop a comment in the comment section so that I can prepare a video for Tailwind CSS as well. flex call, justify center. I'm putting the height of my containers height 96 and gap between the each flex item gap, and then border. I want to round the corners, so rounded MD, and then background to be orange, right? Orange 500. Okay, and then border white, border color. I want to set the border color as well. If you see uh, here, the border color is white of the container. Border white, and the width will be 96. Let's save and then see. Yep, we got the container, inner container where we can place our flex items. Okay, now the thing is, first item in the flex or else the inner container is the title countdown timer, and then it follows with the label enter minutes, and then input box, and then play, and then display the timer. Okay, so let me add title or heading div class name text center. I want to keep the text at the center of container, and then I'm using different font family, font sans, and then want to make the text semi bold, that is size, and then size is text 3XL. Want to make it big, so text 3XL, and then color of the text is white. And the text is countdown timer. Okay, let me see now. Yep, we got it, countdown timer. Next thing is, if you see here, next is we should have a label and then input container. Okay, input box, for which again I'm going to have a one more div div, and then this is for label enter minutes. Apply some CSS here. Sorry, here this is container for label, so what we can do is inside we can have a label. Okay, inside label. Okay, label is enter minutes, and then for label we should add some attributes, that is HTML for minutes, then class name to add styles, text white, I want to make the label in white color, and then margin bottom 2. Sorry, let's see how it's looking like. So yeah, we got it now, but here the thing is we want to align everything sorry, like this. So for that again we should use a flex to be aligned both label and then input box. We should use a flex. If you see here, it's displaying at the center of the countdown timer. If you look at header, it's displaying at the center, but we don't want like that. So okay, for that let me add a flex to the outer div, flex call before. Okay, now let's see. Okay, it didn't change. Let me make it big and then see whether it's display. Okay, we'll see. We'll add all and then we'll see here. Okay, next is div. This is for input box. Okay, input text is type is text. Okay, and then let me add id, that is minutes. Name, class name. I want to add some style to the input box as well. Width of 64 and then border 2, round it, padding on y-axis 1 and then padding on x-axis 3. That is, padding on y-axis is nothing but vertical and then x-axis is nothing but horizontal. Okay, and then font, let's make the font semi bold, border color blue. And then here class name flex. Why? Because if you see here, we'll be having input box and then I mean in the later section we'll cover this reset button as well, right? So for that I'm using div again. So flex, I want to miss that, so let me add flex with a gap of 4 between items. And then here value so for this I'm using a state use state hook to hold the minutes which we enter into input box. So okay, for that what I can do is I'm using a use state hook minutes set minutes. Okay, use state, initially it will be empty. Okay, so but here let me add minutes, and then whenever there is a user input into the input box we should update the state. Okay, for that I'm using on change event. On change I'll be calling a method callback function that is set minutes to the user input, whatever the user input entered, target dot value. Okay, now with this we are done with the input. Okay, see now it got aligned with the our input label and then input box. So we are now done with the label and then input box. Next is, sorry, we should have a play button and then component to display the timer. Okay, for that what we can do is let's start with okay, where this is a container. Okay, this is inner container. We are done with this. Yep, we should start from here. Div, let's add a button. The button should be FA rich circle play. So for icons, I'm using React icons. So you can simply, if you want to see what all icons available, you can simply go here and type React icons npm. If you go here, you can find this, and then you should install first that React icons npm. Using npm, you should install that React icons. After that, you can use whatever the icon you want. If you want to see exactly what all icons available, you can simply go to GitHub page. One sec, where it is documentation, sorry, React icons npm. Sec, yeah, see, if you come here, if you click on the documentation, you can see what all icons are available. If you want to just search for circle play icon, yeah, you get like this. So if you want to search for any icons, you can search here, and then you can simply use, let's say if you want to use this thing, you can simply click on this and then get the code from here, this import statement as well as this thing. Okay, so I'm using the here the React icon, that is a circle play icon. And then let me add some styling to the button, that is class name, text white, text to Excel. Okay, and then we should have a one more event, that is when we click on the play icon, the timer should start, right? For that, let me add it on click. Let me add an event on click. We should call one method, that is handle play button click. This I'm going to implement in further steps. Okay, for now I'm just keeping it, and then let me add a placeholder for this, just const. I'm not going to implement it now, I'll implement in the coming steps. For now I'm just adding a one log statement, that's it. Play button click. Okay, this is just a placeholder kind of thing, so I'll implement it in coming steps. Now we added button as well. Let's see how our thing looks like now. Okay, now see, we got the play button as well. Okay, we got the play button, but if you see here in the required solution, the play button is at the center of the container. So let me add one more, let me put something into div here, that is class name let it be flex, and then gap 2. I want to have some gap between the items. Justify center, item center, and then rounded. Added some padding as well. Let's see now. Yep, see, it came into the center now. Now the next thing is what we should display here is the timer. So initially it should be 0, I mean 0 0 0 0, that is hours, minutes, and then seconds. For that, let me add a element. Okay, let me add an element inside the this div only. Okay, now div, what we should display inside this div is the time. Let me hard code it for now. So 0 0, sorry, 0 0 0 0. Let me see, now it came, but the thing is it should be in white, and then I think semi bold. Okay, okay, for that let me add a style text white for white color, and then to increase the size text to XL. You can check, I mean, here how much pixel or what is the REM you are going to increase. If you see here, if you highlight on the tailwind CSS, you come to know. So it's at 24 pixel, and then size, and then height is, line height is 32 pixel. Okay, now let me save and then see. Yep, it's now, if you look at our design in the, it's same. Okay, it's now looking perfect. This reset button anyway we are going to cover in the second part of the video. For now we are good, but the thing is, now when we enter here something and then click on it, it's doing nothing, right? So if you see, it's working, but the thing is it's not doing anything. If you click on it, it just plays play button click. Now we should write a logic to start the counter when we click this play button, and then the counter should go to 0. Okay, for that let me add a logic now. So for that we should write a logic inside that method, that is handle play button clicks. Okay, handle play button click. Okay, now first thing is, as soon as we enter input, we will be getting that value into the minutes, right? Okay, now let me remove this, and then sorry, start. First, the thing is, whatever we are entering in the input box, it's a integer greater than 0. It should be greater than 0 with a integer, but since our input is text, we added a type equal to text inside input, so we should first pass this value into integer. Okay, for that what I'm doing is I'm using parsed minutes equal to, I'm using parse int, and then I'll pass the minutes. So this gives this converts text that is in the string format into the integer format. So now we got integer formatted minutes. Okay, next logic is, whenever the input value is not a string and past minutes greater than 0, then only our timer should start. That is, for that let me add if condition, and then negate is nan. We should check whether the input is not a number or text. If it's a text and then not converted, the timer should not start. Okay, for that I'm adding one more condition, that is past minutes and then past minutes should be greater than 0. Okay, then only our timer should start. For that I'm using here word, and then I'm using one more counter, that is for to contain the or to hold the timer value, which we converted and then which we now will convert into seconds. So for that let me add one more state, that is uh, timer value. Okay, I think we don't require any timer value, we can simply set the timer. Okay, uh, timer, set timer. Why? Because we need this value uh, to decrement 1 second each, so that it will reach till 0. So for that I'm using this use state. Initially it will be 0, timer will be 0 initially. Okay, and then here I'm simply set timer. So whenever our counter starts, we should set the timer first, right, to the high value, that is whatever input minutes into seconds, past minutes and then asterisk 60, that is I'm converting into seconds and then setting the timer value. Okay, and then we should have one more state variable, that is state hook. We should use state hook for a state variable to check whether timer is running or not. Is running, set is running. Initially it will be false. Okay, initially it will be false, but as soon as we enter into this loop, we should set it to true, that is set is running to true. Okay, set is running to true. If this condition fails, that means if the provided input is not meeting this criteria, then what we should throw some warning, right, saying that enter valid input, like that. Okay, for that what I'm using is I'm putting else condition, where I'm throwing some error warning message saying that set timer to 0. Initially we should set timer to 0 again. Okay, and then set is running to false. And then for now I'm simply logging console.log. Please. Okay, instead of console, let me use toast notifications. I'll be using toast notifications. So far if you want to see how toast notifications look like, you can simply go here, type react toastify. If you go here, you can check toast notifications here. You can use toast notifications. For that you should install this package, that is react toastify package. So I have already did it, so I simply use that notifications here instead of plain messages. Okay, for that let me import toast. Okay, let me start here. Let me see. Toast dot warning. Please enter a valid number of minutes, for which we can pass a couple of parameters to customize where you want to display your message and all those things. Position, is top center, and then auto close. That means how much time you want to show the toast message before it auto closes. That is 10,000 milliseconds, that is 1 second. Okay, and then theme is you can either use the dark or colored. So for this I'm using dark, color or light, whatever. For this I'm using simply light. I'll show you the color and dark in the coming steps. And then transition as well. That is how you want to, this is a animation effect kind of thing, how you want to display your this thing. So bounce. For that, let me add here import toast container and then bounce. So first we should use toast container inside our code. So let it keep at the end of your code, that is after your last. So let me add toast container here. Okay, since we are throwing multiple, we are returning multiple elements, let me add a fragment. Okay, yeah, now we are good. We added a warning message. Let's see whether it's working or not. Okay, we got an error. Oh, sorry, I think we entered parse. Okay, wrong thing. Okay. Percent. Okay, now close it. Okay, we are not seeing the warning message, that is parse. Please enter a valid number of minutes, top center. Why we are not seeing here? We added toast container. Okay, and then okay, we forgot to add here one more this thing, TOAST, toast. Yeah, this is what we are using right now. Let's see. Yep, if you see here, please enter a valid number of minutes, a toast notification is coming. Okay, we are good now. Now the thing is, once the counter is in running state, we should call, or we should perform one side effect, that is decrementing the counter value, that is timer value. So for that I'm going to use a one more React hook, that is a use effect. Generally use effect will use to perform side actions, right? So for that I'm going to use effect here, use effect. So this use effect will run whenever there is a change in the state of counter running state, that is whether it's running or not. So based on that, this use effect will trigger. So let me add here. Okay, here what I'm going to use, if we already storing the timer state or timer running state in the is running constant. So okay, if it's true, that is if the timer is running, then what we are doing is we are first displaying a toast notification saying that the timer started. For that, toast dot info timer started. Okay. Sorry, forget. Let me add comma and then couple of parameters to say where you should display. Position, top, center, theme. Here I am going to use colored, and then auto close. Sorry, I have a cold, so please bear with me. Okay, yeah, now we are done with this. So we added a, if timer is running, then we are showing a message, a toast message to the user saying that timer started. And then what we are doing is, let me have a interval, set interval method to run for every 1 second, and then in the for every 1 second when it runs, we are going to decrement our timer. So for that I am adding a one set interval method here, interval id equal to set interval, for which we are going to add a callback function which runs every 1 second. Okay, where inside this for every 1 second we are going to decrement the timer. So we already maintaining the timer value inside a this timer state. Okay, so I am going to update the timer state for every second. Sorry, set timer based on previous timer. If previous timer equal to 0, that means it reached, I mean that countdown timer reached to end. If that is the case, what we have to do is we should set is running to false. Okay, set is running to false, and then clear the interval. We don't want to have this method to run when the timer comes to end. Okay, for which I am going to pass interval id, will be clearing that interval, and then return 0. Why? Because if timer reaches 0, that means obviously the timer going to set to 0. Okay, else if the timer is not 0, the timer value is not 0, that means we should decrement the timer value, right? Previous timer minus 1. So we are decrementing by 1 second. This method, this set interval should run for every 1 second, that is 1000 milliseconds, right? So where is this? Yeah, okay, yeah, here we should pass 1000, means this runs, if you see here, schedules repeated execution of callback for every delay, that is here I am mentioning 1000 milliseconds. So for every 1000 milliseconds this is going to run and then decrement the value if it is not 0. Okay, and then inside use effect will be having a one more return to run the cleanup activity. Clear interval id. Okay, why it's showing error? This is where we started, right? Okay. Oh, sorry. This is running. Okay. Yep. Inside this only we should keep. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. This why we are using here a cleanup action is whenever if the component unmounts or if it get refreshed, we don't want to continue with the execution of this interval set interval method. So for that we are going to clean up the things whenever the component unmounts. Okay, now let me see whether this is working or not. Let's say if we enter here, timer started. Oh, sorry, something went wrong here. Let me see what went wrong here. Is running. Okay. Okay. What went wrong here? We are decrementing the timer here. Sorry. Okay, let me add this timer here. Whether it's running or not. Let's see. Since we hard coded, we are now replacing with the dynamic value. But my question is why it's showing this timer started multiple times. Okay, I should add a dependency here. I haven't added a dependency. Is running. Okay, yeah, see, if you see here, it's now decrementing, but it's not formatted. We want like this hours, minutes, and then seconds, but it's decrementing, but it's directly showing the seconds. So let me format the timer, for which I'll be writing a one helper method, const format time. This takes one input, one argument, that is time. Okay, so for hours equal to math dot flow. Let me use floor and then divide time with 3600. Since we are converting everything into seconds, right? If you see here, I'm converting the minutes whenever I get, I'm converting into seconds, and then I'm setting the timer value. So for that I'm dividing with 3600. But why is throwing error? Okay, missed it. Okay, and then for minutes math dot flow. Again I'm using floor method, where I'll be passing time mod 3600. See, whenever we divide number of seconds with this, the remainder, whatever the remainder we get, that again we should convert into minutes. So that is the reason I'm using mod operation here. Here it's not mod operation, here it's a divide. So here we get quotient, here we get a remainder. Okay. And then divide with 60 to convert into minutes. Okay, let me add here. And then now we need seconds. Seconds equal to, same way we simply divide the remaining time with that is mod operation with 60 to get seconds. So now we got hours, minutes, and then seconds. So we should now format and return a string here. Use template literals for this. Okay, inside the template literals we can pass variables, right? Okay. Sorry. If hours less than 10. Okay, if hours less than 10, we simply use 0 and then append with the hours integer, hours value. That is single. If it's a single digit, single hour, we simply put 0 and then hour number. If not, just simply hours. Colon and then dollar. Again in the similar way for minutes as well, just copy and then I'll replace with the value. So if you see here, just replace with minutes, 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 colon, again just dollar, here seconds. Seconds. Okay, now we are returning this. So we should use this method instead of displaying the timer directly here. So we pass timer to this method. So it will return the formatted time. Let's see. Yep. See, now we are seeing the timer displaying in the required format. That is hours, minutes, and then seconds. Okay, I think with this we covered what is the first task. First task is you should take minutes and then should start the countdown, and then when clicked on play button the timer should start counting to 0. So we are now done with the two tasks. These two tasks we are completed. See, because it's taking input value and then when we click on play button it's starting the timer and then countdown till 0. Let's see. And the third is if the input is changed in the middle, the countdown should stop and then reset. That means when we change this value to 2, it should actually stop and then should reset to the 0. I mean that value should be 0. Okay, for that, okay, let me stop here. For that, let me go here. For the third task, what we are doing is we should use one more state variable for this. One more state variable and then use effect so that it will reset the timer and then stop the running. Okay. Whenever there is a change in the input, that means in minutes. So for that, let me add a use effect which will run whenever there is a change in the input. Okay, let me add this. and the dependency for this is if any change into the minutes, that is since we are holding the minutes into this minute state. Okay, what we have to do is whenever there is a change to this minutes, we should first stop the counter and then reset the value to the 0. For that I simply use if condition. If is running, that is if the countdown timer is running, we should simply update the is running state to negative, that is if it's running just make it false. Okay, for that preview running, simply set back to the negation of the whatever the previous running state. Okay, after setting this, that is stopping the container, simply stopping the timer and then set the timer to 0. Okay, and then that's it. Let's see. Okay, it's running now. Let's see if I change the value to 2. See, it stopped and then set back to the 0. If you see here, now again try this. See, it's running now. Let me see if I change the input, the timer should stop and then reset to 0. If I change 3, see, it's now working. So with this we completed the first 3 tasks. We are done with these 3 tasks. So in the coming video or in the next video or part 2 of this, I will be showing these 3 tasks, that is setting up the reset button and then pause button, and then once played the countdown cannot be stopped. Okay, thanks for watching. Please do like, subscribe and share the videos. If you have anything, please mention in the comments. Once again, thanks for watching this video.